But big fella, All-Star Weekend. I think All-Star Weekend was a good weekend. It was a good All-Star game between Team USA versus World. Your boy Anthony Edwards from your Georgia Bulldogs won All-Star Game MVP. He's my favorite basketball player currently, outside of SGA, Jokic, and Luka. I loved what I saw for the three-point shooting contest with Damian Lillard. But big fella, they need to get rid of that dunk contest. That dunk contest was awful. As you always say, uglier than the Masterpiece sneaker. I always say it's uglier than Flavor Flav's teeth. Unless I think with the dunk contest, if the players they don't want to do the dunk contest anymore, fine. Get some guys on YouTube or on social media or whoever that are known for doing crazy dunks. Let them participate in the dunk contest. We don't need to see the dunk contest from the current NBA players anymore. But outside of the dunk contest, I actually liked what I saw from Team USA, Team World, with Wemby and Kawhi Leonard. Oh man, he looked good in that game. So I was really excited and happy with what I saw overall from All Star. And it was in Los Angeles. And it was also great that Barack Obama and the former First Lady
Yes.
Michelle Obama was also there. And it was also great that Barack and Reggie Miller was talking smack with one another. That's the kind of thing that we miss about with basketball, man. But what are your thoughts?
First of all, shout out to the former commander in chief, man. Shout out to the former commander in chief. Class
Shout out to the beautiful
personified,
Nessa.
man. Hey, oh Ness, how you doing, Ness? So shout out to Barack, man. But shout out to Barack Obama, the former commander in chief. I had the privilege, the pleasure, and the honor of serving up under his regime, and that was historic. You know, you know, I got to I got to vote for him in the same elementary school that was named after a civil rights activist, that being Dr. Thomas H. Brewer. Uh, long live him. Civil rights leader, excuse me, right here out of Columbus, Georgia. And I went to that school in kindergarten and voted for Barack at that same school that I went to that was named after a civil rights activist. So to see him on the sidelines and doing commentary on the All-Star game, you know, class personified, man, you know, class, dignity, just the type of guy when you walk into a room commands respect without anything coming out of his mouth. So, I mean, bravo. Bravo. Get rid of the slam dunk contest. And look, if you want to know how to solve this issue, look no further. Take away the dunk contest automatically. Because the thing is this, there was a point in the dunk contest where when you won the dunk contest, you would at least become a star. Maybe not a mega star, but a star. When you think about guys who won the dunk contest and, you know, still was able to be a star, you know, not necessarily a superstar, but a star, you know, the Spud Webb, the Nate Robinson, the Larry Nance's, guys like that, J.R. Ryder, Harold Miner. When you think about guys like that who was in the dunk contest and they weren't necessarily superstars, but they were stars in the NBA, and that helped them go up to stardom. There's not that anymore. That's number one. Number two, if you're wondering what to put in the slam dunk contest, in place of the slam dunk contest, I know people are gonna laugh at me right about now, but if you want to know what to put in place of that, look no further than what Nafisa Collier and Breonna Stewart's league Unrivaled is doing, and put a one-on-one tournament in place. And put some prize money on the line, maybe like $1 million on the line for whoever wins the one-on-one contest. They did that at Unrivaled. I think it will succeed at the NBA if it is competitive. I think you should look no further than Unrivaled to see what to put in place of that. Hey, see who can win a 1v1. See who's the best one-on-one player in the world. I mean, we got a kick out of seeing Kelsey Gray, one of the most one of the best veterans in the league take on Paige Beckers, one of the best and upcoming superstars in the WNBA. We got a real kick out of that. I mean, and Paige Beckers, although she's a great basketball player, she flat out got annihilated by Kelsey Gray. She flat out got annihilated. And so that's the thing. We want to see what our favorite superstars would do in a 1v1 situation, and look no further than Unrivaled in what they're doing. Go ahead. Or either look, doing that, look, bring back Horse. Remember at one point they was playing.
Yes, I remember that. That was very cool though at that time.
Yes. You know, with George Gervin and some of those guys, go play Horse. Try playing Horse. So that's just how it goes. I mean, it's no longer exciting. There's the superstars are no longer in there, and the guys who can be stars are not being made stars. Like I stated, even though Spud Webb wasn't a mega star, he was a star. The dunk contest made him noticed. Even though he wasn't a mega star, Larry Nance, he was a star. J.R. Ryder. I never forget the first time that I seen him put that ball between his legs and then dunk the ball. Harold Miner. Remember, Tracy McGrady wasn't a megastar until he left Toronto
to go to Orlando.
But that dunk contest was one of the best dunk contests in the history of the league. And that's the thing. We only see some of these guys in the dunk contest, and guess what? We never hear from them again. So I think they should look at Unrivaled and look at what they have going on and say, hey, we need to start a 1v1. And look, nothing motivates an athlete or any person, whether it be him, she, or they. Nothing motivates a human being more than a little bit of this right here, a little bit extra of this right here. So put some prize money on the line, maybe $1 million, $2 million on the line.
Well, speaking of which, big fella, Commissioner Silver is reportedly exploring a potential one-on-one NBA versus WNBA tournament for All-Star Weekend, featuring high-stakes matchups with a $1.5 million cash prize. Proposed highly publicized matchups being floated include Caitlin Clark versus Steph Curry, Paige Bueckers versus Luka Doncic, and A'ja Wilson versus Nikola Jokic.
I would love that. And it puts it puts both products on a bigger stage, especially, and it'll help the exposure for the WNBA.
Certainly.
It will help
easily.
Yeah, it will help the casual fan better
pay more
understand.
attention to the WNBA because remember,
Yes, absolutely.
remember Sabrina Ionescu, who
Yeah.
faced Steph Curry in that 3-point shooting challenge in the All-Star? That would definitely help out the WNBA. So why not? Why not? That would actually work. And besides, if you're Adam Silver, look, I don't want to be too hard on Adam Silver, but it was reported that you were seriously considering abolishing the NBA draft for rookies to enter as free agents so that they can decide. And look, that's a story for another day. You can probably touch on it, champ, if you want. I'll give you the floor. But if you're Adam Silver, you're going to have to make some serious decisions. You got to stop being so friendly with these players. And if you want to compete and get back to NBA at once were, perhaps you're going to have to take more of a page out of David Stern, Rest His Soul's book. You said it yourself, big fella, in which I couldn't agree more. Hey, there has to be rules and things put in place. Otherwise, things go haywire.
Yeah. At a certain point, you have to decide in life, what do you want to be? Especially when you're a boss. I know people don't like that word boss, but quite frankly, Adam Silver is the boss of this league. As a boss, as a leader, you have to decide whether you want to be loved or respected. And in the great words of the late, great John Gotti, I would rather be much more respected than loved. People never try anything dumb with someone they respect. You always hear about these telltale dark tales about everybody always hurting the one they love. You never hear that shit about someone that they respect. You never hear it. And that is why David Stern, although he was a tyrant, he was well respected around the league. You may not have liked him, but he put the NBA in a position where they were competing with football. You could put a football game and a basketball game on a Thursday, and they will be competing with each other, even if it was at the beginning of the season during garbage time. So Adam Silver, and the thing is, it wasn't going downhill until Adam Silver became the commissioner. Although it had not been competitive, we saw, LeBron and Kobe go at it during the Adam Silver, the
David Stern.
era.
Yeah, a lot of
We saw
the
them.
people's fantasy, what people wanted to see. Unfortunately, we never got the opportunity to see it. Was LeBron, Kobe in the finals. But Adam Silver, there were times during his stewardship, early on in his early years, he was good, but it's just been in decline ever since. And people will say, well, load management. A lot of people are so quick to say LeBron James is responsible for All-Star Weekend for the decline. Look, LeBron James, would I have liked to see him do one dunk contest in his career? But yeah, sure. I'm quite sure you would have wanted to see him at least one time, champ. But to completely say he's the reason, LeBron's doing what's best for himself. So the NBA, they have to do what's best for themselves. So
At a certain point, you can't ask me to carry the whole damn league into the dunk contest every single year, or at least 1 year at the height of my career. The thing about it is Jordan, he entered in the early parts of his career.
yes, he
When
did.
he was in the dunk contest. Kobe Bryant, early in his career, he was in the dunk contest. Dominique Wilkins, early in his career, he was in the dunk contest. Those guys were in the dunk contest early in their career. And Dr. J, the inventor of the dunk contest, he was in there. But the thing is, to blame it all on LeBron is kind of, a little bit lazy, if you want me to be honest with you. Not to mention, you got to ask yourself this: how many other star players have there been that were power dunkers during their tenure, and they didn't? Just because your main superstar, he was carrying the league on his back, yet still, LeBron James is still the biggest star in the NBA right now. He's the biggest and most known star. They're still looking for that next global star to try to replace him, and I believe that is the reason why the NBA is not ready for him to retire. They don't have that next man up. We thought it was going to be John Morant, but he couldn't put the pew-pews down, and he couldn't put the Nerf weapons down, Nerf or nothing with him. Then, Anthony Edwards, they thought it was going to be him, but, people have their reservations about it.
And then Zion, of course, wisdom
Then
teeth.
Zion, Wisdom Teeth at West Coast Productions. So you really can't put him out there, and not to mention, your play is not where it needs to be. Your play. He just got dropped from the Jordan brand not too long ago. Now, I've never heard of anybody getting dropped from the Jordan brand before, but when you get dropped from the Jordan brand because your shoes are not selling and you're not up to par, that's saying something about your play and your availability and the fact that you can't really sell sneakers. Remember, he had one of the highest sneaker deals in the history of the league, one of the highest. So for him to not have a sneaker deal right about now, then hey, that says a lot about how much of a failure his career has been. Better look up LeVar Ball to see if you can get you some Zion 2s going on. That's might be my suggestion for you. But I digress. It has to be something else, man. Like I said, the dunk contest is gone because it's not creating stars. It's not creating stars. It's not creating that excitement. And the thing is this: how much more creative can you be with these dunk contests? We've already seen guys take the ball between their legs, jump over cars. We've seen them jump over people. We've seen them blind themselves by putting their arm over the eyes. We've seen everything that you could possibly do. So outside of maybe bringing, like you said, the YouTubers on there to see if they can dunk and give them $1 million, I don't know what these NBA players can do as far as creativity, as far as dunking is concerned. I don't know what they can do without probably hurting themselves, because we saw what happened with the dunk contest this past weekend. The guy hit his head, could have had a concussion. Outside of hurting themselves, I don't know how much more creative can you be. So maybe do a backflip or a cartwheel on the way to the goal, maybe. But I mean, you gotta ask yourself, how much more creative can you be? I think the epitome, of creativity was when J.R. Ryder took the ball between his legs and went over, and then not to mention with Zach LaVine, he went up under his legs and then dunked the ball. Still didn't damn win the dunk contest. So how much more creative can you be without hurting yourself at this point? That's another thing that's kind of hurting the dunk contest too. But look, switch it over to 1v1, see what the players can do against the WNBA. Let the casual fan in on how great Asia Wilson is. I know she's been an ambassador of the league this offseason. Her, Angel Reese, just to name a few, they've been great ambassadors of the WNBA, although a lockout is pending. And see what they can do. You know, it's always that age-old battle. Even when you're on the playground back in the day, everybody wants to see what the best guy basketball player can do against the best girl basketball player. Hell, we even saw that at one point in time. We saw when the great Shelley Bolton from the U.S. Olympic team back in 1996, she played against Michael Jordan. She played against Michael Jordan. Cheryl Swoops, she played against Michael Jordan. So it's a classic old battle, boys versus girls. You know, I think that would help. And as far as Adam Silver talking about abolishing the draft, how do we know at this point that if you do that, everybody's not going to just stack and make super teams and deplete the league even more?
I think it's a
That's
bad idea. It's a horrible idea because again, with rookies, with them being as free agents, of course they're going to go for the bigger markets and for the
yeah,
bigger players. But how does that help as far as growth and development with their
it
game?
doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all, which is why I think it's a horrendous idea. And look, to your point, champ, look, if there are teams that are intentionally tanking, yes, they should be punished. But at the same time, we can't abolish the NBA draft. We can't. I mean, we can't do that. I mean, it works in other leagues like soccer, but it's not going to work in basketball.
It's
And I
not going to
think
work.
it's not. And I think with Commissioner Silver, look, if you want people to pay more attention to basketball, you're just going to have to convince these players to do things that they don't necessarily want to do. And these players got to stop acting like it's all cool and it's all good because it seems like since they've gotten their money, it's not enough urgency.